What's up, y'all? This is the Curious One, and we're here kicking it at the Ugly Table. We're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Storm Shadow. And I'm really happy to have this figure in hand. It did seem to take a long time, but I'm very happy to have a classic-ish looking Storm Shadow. Like, it's not 100% retro, but when you look at him, you go, hey, that's Storm Shadow. So, yeah. So here's a look at the file card. He's going to be number 35, and then these icons show his attributes. They got it kind of set up like a video game, I think. You can go to gijoe.com and figure out what those are if you would like to. Here's a look at the back. This is new artwork. This isn't what we were seeing on the Wave 1. Although it does have some Wave 1 figures on it. So they have the Alley Vipers, the Vipers, Major Blood, Firefly, Baroness, added the Crockmaster. They got the Red Ninjas, Beachhead, Barbecue, the original Gung Ho, added Spirit, got the original Duke, and I'm gonna guess that's, I'm not even sure what that is. It's either Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow. Then you got the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow here. Are those Trouble Bubbles? I can't tell. Artwork from the front is continued onto the side. As you can see, it's a little bit more cartoonish than usual. None of the art really fits together the greatest because they're using multiple artists. I do like the style, but something a little bit more realistic I think may have been a tad bit better. Anyways, I'm not a huge collector of boxes, although I have been keeping like one of each of the G.I. Joe Classified, just because, I don't know, in case I ever need to sell or something. I'm not even sure. Maybe just as an inheritance for somebody in the future, they can be able to sell some figures that are actually in the box, which would raise the value. You know what I mean? So let's get this guy out of the box and see what's up. So here he is out of the box. He's going to come with 3 accessories. He's going to have a compound bow, a long sword, a short sword, the tail to his belt. Going to have an alternative hood, and then an arrow that will fit in his quiver. I guess we could say 7 because he does have the hood down, which is on him now, that you can take off and replace with the hood if you wish. So here's a look at the compound bow. Looks pretty good. Not too bad. Of course, you're not going to be able to have him drawing the bow, but for neutral poses or him knocking the arrow, it should work pretty well. Here's a look at his long sword. Has a snake head on the handle. Focus. Some pretty good detail on it. Here's the short sword. Has the same snake head. Kind of a tanto shaped blade. Here's the arrow. Now be careful with this, guys, or it's going to fall in the carpet. You're never going to see it again. And here's his backpack. I'm not the biggest fan of the angle of the swords. I feel like it's going to put it, I don't know, maybe once we get it on there, we'll take another look at it. I just feel like they're angled improperly for him to be able to use both, especially since this is going to be facing in the wrong direction. He's going to be holding his bow with his left hand, and he should be reaching over his shoulder with his right hand to grab his arrows. I feel like had they set it up to where it was angled a little bit more like this, and then the swords are angled like that, it would be a little bit more realistic. I believe that's the way it was on the retro figure, if I remember correctly. Here's his belt, and that's going to have a peg. He's going to have a peg right here on the back of his belt. You see it right there. Should be able to plug this right onto there, and then that'll give you it's articulated so you can have it blowing whichever way you want. So before we take a look at the hood, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the figure. Got the white balaclava. Pretty good eye paint. It looks like it's off just a tad there. But a really nice looking figure. As you can see, he's got the glove for firing a bow. Just those two fingers are going to be what he's pulling the arrow with, unless he has a unless he would have a trigger. I don't know if you guys have ever done archery or not. It's basically attaches to your wrist, and then you attach it to the string, you draw it, and then it has a thumb lever that you use to fire the bow with, but he does not have one of those. This belt is loose and it's going to be able to move. It is molded in black, and then the white is painted on. So the white's off just a little bit, but it's not like you can't see it. Like, it doesn't jump out at you really badly, but I believe that's going to tend to scratch, and then it will jump out at you good. He's got some shurikens here, kind of weird styled, and then the belt is painted silver. He does, of course, have his iconic cobra symbol there on his chest. Arm wraps with gloves. Now, the original did not have the gloves or the whatchamacallit, the forearm pads, or the back of the hand pads. He just had his hands wrapped. Come down to the pants. He's got some leg wrappings there. Some kind of like ninjutsu style tennis shoe boots things. Some peg holes on the bottom. Made in China, like everything else. Now the wraps do have a dry brushing on them to make them look weathered. It's a pretty nice little touch that they threw in there. So as I said, he does have this hood that is down, can be removed. So then you have a little bit more of a classic look, because the retro figure did not have his hoodie down. He didn't have a hood. He didn't have a hood until version 2, the white and gray one, which I really liked. I hope we'll get one similar to that sometime in the future. He's going to be able to look up about that far without it, and he'll be able to look down that far without it. Now, these butterfly joints, they always seem to bother me. They work a little bit backwards. Like, you can always get a little bit of movement backwards, but forward, it's just really no movement there. the cutouts I think just need to be a little bit bigger on these classified series figures. Alright, so here's a look at the hood. Now, this is going to work the same way that it does with the articulated icons ninjas. If you don't have any of those, basically what you do is you take the head, you pop it in here, like so, and then you're going to line that up with the ball peg, and pop him back on. So I'm not a big fan of him with the hood like this, and it just doesn't seem, I don't know, it could just be misshapen from the way it was sitting in the package, but it kind of seems like it'll be something that'll be difficult to make look proper as you're kind of posing him around. Well, that's not too bad. I like it, but I don't think I'll be using it very often. I'll probably either have him with the hood down or without the hood at all. Alright, so we did show the backpack. Let's see, where did the arrow go? So the arrow does fit down in here, but okay, maybe they did think about that. Yeah, looks like they did think about that. And then you're gonna have a slot for your longsword. Alright, seems to be working so far. Sometimes some of the knife sheaths gave them trouble, like the version 1 Snake Eyes. When I got my first one, there was the black on black anyways, the sheath did not have an opening going all the way through it, so you could not fit the entire knife in there. So then it fits right there, just like that. So you can see how that looks. Now it does have a slot for the bow. Okay, so there's a little peg hole right there. You see it? Triangle. There's a little triangle peg right there. And you just plug it in just like that. So now he's holding all of his accessories except for his hood. Now the articulation is going to be the same as any classified series figure, so I'm not really going to go over it. I haven't seen anything about it about the articulation that I don't like so far, because occasionally there'll be like something that'll make it so you'll get just a little bit less range of motion than you would with other figures. Like maybe if he had a vest on, then you wouldn't get any ab crunch. This one's nice and tight, so I like that. The Arctic Storm Shadow, you can actually shake. I call it the patented Hasbro blowjob action feature, but this figure does not have it, and I appreciate that. So as I said, you can get him posed up as though he is about to knock the arrow. I'm sure you can get him posed to where it looks like he's drawing the bow, but it's because the string is actually plastic. You're not actually going to be able to get him to draw the string. You can make it look as though he's starting to, probably. But he does hold the bow really well. He does hold the arrow really good. So those are 2 pluses as well. He does hold both swords. He's capable of holding both swords. Although the short sword here on his left hand is a little bit loose. But it could have been that I stretched his hand out with the bow. The bow may be a little bit thicker than the handle on the sword. And therefore, because I just stretched out his hand, it may be fitting a little bit loose. That might change if you leave the bow out of his hand for a while. It may go back to shape, but I'm not sure. Maybe I should have tried the swords first. Still digging this figure though. So As a size comparison, I got him here with the Arctic Blowjob Storm Shadow. Got the black and black snake eyes, my custom version 4 Alpha Commando snake eyes, and then the biggest figure that we have in this line is Roadblock. So I put him out there so you can see a size comparison of it. So here's how he'll match up with the Red Ninja, which is basically Snake Eyes. If you customized an articulated icons White Ninja to look like Storm Shadow, this is what he's going to look like compared to him. Then you have Marvel Legends Hand Ninja and a custom Lady Snake Eyes, which is on the retro Black Widow body. So I think that about covers it. So y'all have a good night. Try to stay out of trouble. Y'all take it easy, alright? Peace. The Humpty Dance is a dance. See what I'm saying? Later, y'all.